Hello, one and all. Welcome to my channel. So, I personally, let me just start it off now. I don't think I'm going to pull for Roccia. And let me tell you why. I don't think she is worth it, unfortunately. I was super hyped about this character, super hyped about putting her in my Camellia team. But after playing her in game, after seeing what her abilities actually do, I don't feel like it is worth it to spend my astrite on this character to replace Sanwa when arguably Sanwa's not that much worse. So let's get into it and explain my thoughts. So, okay. The main point you'll be wanting to get this character with is, of course, the outro skill. The outro skill is what's fundamental in a bunch of the supporting units like Sanwa and Roccia. So, her outro skill is they're going to have Havoc damage amplified by 20% and basic attack damage amplified by 25% for 14 seconds or until switched out. When you think about it, that sounds amazing. That is a huge buff for Camellia. Both things she loves. Now, let's look at Sanwa. Sanwa, her outro skill is they gain a 38% basic attack damage deepen for 14 seconds. Now, deepening, I believe, is a little bit more powerful than just amplified. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding of deepen versus amplified. Now, she only gives a basic attack damage buff, while Roccia gives Havoc and basic attack damage buff. Now, we gotta think about this. We gotta think about Sanwa. For most people, you'll already have an E6 Sanwa from the pulls you've accumulated and from the different banners you pull on. I'm going to assume that you already have an E6 Sanwa or an S6 Sanwa. So, with the buffs she'll be giving, if we're counting everything, the buffs she'll be giving a 38% basic attack damage deepen. And if you look at this, for the most part, you're probably already going to break two of her little ice walls. So she's going to have an attack increase 20%. 10% stacking for 2 times. So that's a 20% attack buff or attack increase, a 38% basic attack deepen, and then for most people, because Sanwa is so easily used, you can play Naked Sanwa, which is essentially just throw a set on her and just go. You don't have to worry about substats or anything. Most people are going to use the Moonlit Cloud set because it's such a good set. So that's going to be Energy Gen, which is only applied to her. And then upon using an outro skill buff, the attack of the next resonator is increased by 22.5%. So that's another 22.5% attack increase. So it's going to be a total of 42.5% attack increase and a 38% attack damage deepen, which is amazing. We also got to consider how fast her rotations are. She only has to be on the field for like a second. She does skill on the PC. I gotta mention this. On the PC, skill ultimate, and you can hold your attack during the ultimate to get off that charge attack, and you immediately have your outro. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. Just build her with energy regen and you're good. So that's how easy she is. So people are already going to have her. She is a free character, most likely going to have S6, and you're probably already going to have a Moonlit Cloud set on her because you don't need to really build the Cloud set. You just need to throw some pieces on, have her have a little bit survivability, and you're good to go. Now, if we compare that to Roccia, Roccia is a 5-star unit, so you already have to consider the pulls you have to pull for her. Then you have to consider, hey, I have a passive that I need to get going. Where is the passive? So the passive is for every 0.1 of Roccia's crit rate over 50%, skill zone increase the attack of resonators by 1 point for 30 seconds up to 200 points. Okay, cool. Now, that means you got to get her to 70% crit rate, if I believe I am correct. So that's a 70% crit rate. So you got to have proper substats for her. So you can't just have a naked build and just throw a random set on her. Then you got to think the new Midnight Veil set is the best set for her to give additional outro. It's gonna do a bunch of damage around enemies, so extra damage. And then whenever you trigger the outro skill, the incoming resonator has their attack or havoc damage increased by another 15%. Massive, huge. But you got to farm for a whole new set that just came out from the ground up. And you got to have that crit set to get her to 70% crit. Oh, but wait. There aren't very many gauntlets in the game that can, help her out. So, I believe her gauntlet is going to have crit rate on it. Or you can use a different weapon. Let's see how many weapons we have going with crit. Oh, there's one, which is the Verdi's Handle, which is a signature weapon that you also have to use pools on. And hopefully you have it for her. Or, let's see here. I believe the only other one is going to be the Stoneard, which is a battle pass weapon. So you have to throw real money at it also. So you have those two. And if you haven't bought the battle pass or haven't spent money on pools, it's going to be super hard to get the crit rate that you need for Roccia. So you got to have a brand new set. You got to throw some pulls out to get the character. Hopefully you win to 50-50. Then you got to build, like I say, build a whole new set for her from the ground up. Got to build the Midnight Veil set. And then you got to have the crit rate for her. 70% crit rate is extremely high. Not many people can get to there very easily, especially with a brand new set that came out. Now, don't get me wrong, she is a fantastic unit. But does the cost match what she brings to the table? My personal belief is no. You're just going to have a better time. Sanwa's going to have a faster rotation, easier setup. You already have her for the most part. If you don't have her at E6, you're probably going to get her at E6 here pretty soon because she's on a lot of banners. And like I said, you could just throw a basic unleveled Moonlit Cloud set on her and she works perfectly fine. Santotis does this all the time and shows you how easy she is to work with. Unfortunately, Roccia's not going to be that easy. She's not just a thrower on the team and use her to the best of her abilities. She has a slower rotation time from what we've seen when you get to play with her in the story. You have to have a whole new set for her. And 70% crit rate, whole new set, it is just not worth it. Unfortunately, my personal opinion, and I hope you can take that to heart, because I don't want you to waste your pools on a character. Now, there are some people talking about, hey, if you get her to S2, which S2 is another big damage buff. It's going to casting base attack grants all resonators a 10% havoc damage bonus for 30 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So that's 30% havoc damage bonus. Then, if you do all the stacks, you get an additional 10% havoc damage bonus, which is 40% havoc damage bonus. But that's at S2. So you need 3 copies of this character. It's not worth it. to get 3 copies to try and make it so she doesn't get power crept immediately? I don't think so. I think you just have a much easier time saving your pools for someone who will actually affect the gameplay for one of your main DPS and keeping your Sanwa. Just have her on some 2 energy regeneration 3 costs and you're good to go. Those would be the only things I'd max out on her is the 2-3 costs, and then you don't even have to worry about substats. You don't have to worry about her damage at all. All you have to do is worry about how fast she can get her outro up. Practice the skill alt combo so you can get it done immediately so you don't get knocked out of it, and you're good to go. She's a fantastic unit. She's been a fantastic unit since day one. And that's my rant. That is what I feel about it, and I was hyped for this character, just not feeling it anymore. Unfortunate. But thank you all for watching. Have a good one, and peace.